fans. But first, we want to go to Michael Brandon for a wrap-up of the game.
I'm Michael Brandon in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, where the #1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide can claim the title of SEC champions tonight, beating the Missouri Tigers in a final of 42-13. It was all about Alabama, especially in the first quarter early on. Let's get straight to the highlights. The Tide took advantage of a weak Missouri defense early on with a TJ Yeldon 1-yard run, putting the Tide up 7-0 over the Tigers with more than 11 minutes still to play in the first quarter. Missouri would take to the field and attempt to answer, but would then go 3 and out. Bama would then do the same. At the end of the first quarter, Alabama led 7-0. In the second, it was a fast-paced offensive connection from Blake Sims to DeAndrew White for the touchdown pass. Alabama led 14-0 with 11:48 remaining in the second quarter. Missouri drove all the way down the field and would eventually get on board with a field goal, closing the gap 14-3. Alabama would then go on to have the longest drive of the game, covering 75 yards on 14 plays, ending with a touchdown by TJ Yeldon from the 2-yard line. Alabama 21, Missouri 3 at the half. In the second half, the Tigers emerged from an unknown force of offensive power. Mock connected with Bud Sasser for a Tiger touchdown. After the extra point, Missouri was on the Tide's tail 21-10. After Blake Sims was tackled for a loss, Alabama punted again to Missouri, which executed on a field goal by Sasser, closing the gap even more, 21-13. Alabama would drive 64 yards on 10 plays between the last few minutes of the third quarter and the first 2 plays of the fourth, ending with a 6-yard pass to Christian Jones for the touchdown. Alabama goes up 28-13. Missouri would be stopped by the Tide on the next possession, allowing the Tide to punch in a 26-yard run by Derrick Henry. The Tigers went on to fumble the ball in the fourth, giving the Tide one more opportunity to seal the deal. Henry was the point man again with a 1-yard run, and after the extra point, Alabama 42, Missouri 13.
Well, I think that, part of the reason that I love this team so much is, we have great team chemistry. We don't have a lot of issues ever. Everybody really sort of supports and helps each other.
Our coaches really care about us, and they want to see us win the game and be successful in life. And I'm just happy for this team because we have worked very hard.
When you take a look at the total offense for both of these two teams, Alabama had 504 total yards of offense compared to Missouri's 313. And when you take a look at the rushing, get this, Alabama had nearly 6 times as many rushing yards to Missouri's. We're talking about 242 to only 41. Now the Tide has a 24-hour celebration period, and you can imagine tonight players and the coaches are going to be celebrating very much before they focus on the first round of the college football playoffs. And one person who's seen that firsthand is our Candace Murphy. Candace?
Michael, what a celebration. Take a look at all of this confetti. It is still covering the field. Earlier, football players were out here jumping up and down. They were hugging each other. They were smiling, laughing, and you could see in their faces just how joyous they were that they are bringing home Alabama's 24th SEC championship. Take a look at what the fans had to say.
It was a madhouse on the field after Alabama dominated number 6 team Missouri, and the men who worked so hard for the win posed for a picture, SEC sign in hand, confetti filling the air. For the fans, a similar celebration was going on in the stands.
I was confident we could win, but we crushed them.
We played well all year. We had a hiccup against Ole Miss, but we played well the rest of the year, and right now we're just loving it. It's fantastic. Roll Tide. Yeah, number 1 in the nation. Let's go. Yeah, baby.
I found some Mobilians who say they've been cheering for the men who grew up in their hometown.
Austin Fowler, I mean, it's great seeing a lot of our guys. TJ Yeldon, it's awesome. See Ryan Anderson, it's awesome seeing the Mobile guys compete and help this team win championships.
See those guys come out of high school and develop into NFL prospects. You can't get any better than that.
And we know that we deserve it. I mean, we've played like we deserve it this year.
After 2 years without an SEC championship, it feels good to be back on top.
It's unbelievable. Couldn't dream it up any better. You know, we're really so lucky to be here and really having an outstanding team and an outstanding program.
And what an atmosphere it was out here tonight. You could barely hear yourself at times because the crowd was screaming so loud. You know they played Rammer Jammer at the end of the game. And from all of the fans I spoke with, they said more than anything, they are grateful and they are proud to be built by Bama. We're going to have more for you tomorrow night on Fox 10 News. Back to you, Michael.
Thanks, Candace. Like she said, more highlights of the celebration tomorrow and also more highlights of this game from tonight, plus a complete breakdown of everything you need to know about the SEC championship game here tonight from Atlanta. Once again, the final score, the Alabama Crimson Tide 42, the Missouri Tigers 13. Reporting in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome, Michael Brannon, Fox 10 Sports.